Hello, everyone. I'm Marty along with Ken Brown and George Perdue. We are your hosts of the Local Sports Wrap-Up. We are on Channel 15, Wyandotte Cable. Today is June 9th, 2021. Ken, welcome back. How's that golf coaching going?
It's going well. We have an opportunity with Golf My Game where they're doing golf for kids that are 10, 17 or whatnot, just first-time experience at Chandler Park. It's phenomenal for them to get an opportunity to go out, learning how to hold it and how to swing it. And it's really nice, man. It's good.
You're supposed to hold it loosely, but I grip it like it's going to fall out of my hands. I'm telling you, I had the Wayne State golf coach at my 60th birthday party, and he watched my swing, and he said, will you quit squeezing the grip like it's going to fall off? You could tell just by standing back and watching. And George, how you doing?
Okay, we had graduation last week for the high schoolers on Wednesday. They had to move it indoors, which, you know, they still had it. That was the backup plan always. It was going to be outdoors, and of course the rain, which it rained that whole entire night last Wednesday. So tomorrow's last day of school for the kids, and I know they're excited. I'm excited. You know, it's time to kind of take a break after this last year and a half and kind of regroup for the fall, which I think will be, you know, about as normal as it has been probably when we go back in the fall. So we're looking forward to a little bit of time off.
So they had 30 kids at a time went into the ice rink?
Yeah, similar to what we did last year. Even though we were outdoors last year, but about 30 kids at a time with 6 adults could go in. And I watched a little bit. It was live on YouTube, so I watched part of it. I mean, the kids didn't get to hear like the valedictorian speak because obviously it was only that first group. But you know, they go back and watch it. I know they had their movie night. They're supposed to have a movie night. They did like a drive-in theater. They watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off on Monday. So that kind of took the place of like the all-night party.
Good choice.
But you know, I could keep telling the kids there was nothing normal about how it's been this last year and a half. So they got, you know, they still got to experience some of it. And we'll see. Hopefully a year from now, we're talking about a graduation that's done back to the way it's been. So we'll see.
Well, let's get started on baseball because the Wyandotte Roosevelt baseball team won their district, which, yes, very nice for them. They beat Southgate and Lincoln Park thanks to some big offensive production. Roosevelt claimed its first district title since 2015, beating Lincoln Park 9-2 in the final.
And the Bears got things started on Saturday with a 13-3 victory over Anderson. After 2 quick runs in the first, Roosevelt scored the rest after the third inning, including 7 in the final 2 frames.
It was the middle of the order doing most of the damage. Dominic Nail and Ryan Mead, Tristan Mathis, and Tyler Curdy combined to go 8 for 19 with 6 runs, 10 RBIs, and Donovan Canterbury had a 3-hit game from the leadoff spot as well.
So he gets on, and the rest of the game hits 500 behind him. Yeah, you're going to score some runs.
Yeah, set the table for him, and then they eat.
And then Manny Gutierrez did the rest on the mound. He allowed 3 runs on 5 hits over 5 innings. He struck out 6, and Tristan Mathis, he tossed the final inning and a half, allowing just 2 base runners.
And Roosevelt advanced the regional semifinal. They took on Woodhaven, and we can share that with you in a little bit. The Warriors won 6-4 in comeback fashion against Monroe to win the D1 District 17 title.
Now, Woodhaven swept Roosevelt in the regular season, winning both meetings by a combined 13-0.
So we couldn't even get a run in the regular season. So they played at 4 o'clock today. George has the update. I know we got off to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I was getting an update. Principal Ben Reynolds was at the game, and him and I were talking. They were up 2-0 early on, and he kind of said he might have been the bad luck charm because as soon as he got there, Woodhaven went up 3-2, and then they put on 4 more runs in the top of the 7th. But valiant effort by Roosevelt. They fall short. Season ends on a 7-2 loss to Woodhaven, and just ended about a half an hour ago at about 6, right around 6 o'clock. So,
but they won the first district title since 2015. Yeah. So 6 years ago is the last time they even got into that mix. So I think good showing. And Woodhaven's solid. They're solid in softball. They're solid in baseball. They're solid in everything.
Basketball, right?
And they're going to take on Livonia Stevenson or Birmingham Brother Rice. Saturday, June 12th, at Livonia Stevenson, whoever wins their preliminary game.
Yeah, and they'll have some kids coming back too. I know, they're losing a few. Mathis is a senior. Dominic Nail's a senior. But like Curdy, Canterbury, those kids will be coming back next year. So, they'll have still a pretty decent core for the team. And, you have to regroup every year anyways. But nice showing for the Bears. And, we kind of followed. We had updates. They were kind of back and forth, 500 here and there. And then, finished strong. That's kind of what you want to do at the end of the season. So,
what year is Canterbury? He's a junior?
Canterbury's a junior, and he's already committed to Rice, I believe, is where he's committed for baseball. So
Rice is legit.
Yeah,
Rice Owls,
and he's and he's also going to see some time for football. We think this fall too, possibly, and obviously in the mix for quarterback. So a pretty good athlete, but baseball's been his thing, and so he definitely will be a kid coming back next year that can help him out.
Good to baseball. We have another district champ, Trenton. Trenton won a district title. They actually shut out both teams they played, Groseville and Riverview, to win their district title last week.
Yeah, and it was the host Trojans reigning supreme with a 5-0 victory over Riverview in the district title game overall. Marked the second consecutive district title for Trenton, and its third in the last 4 seasons played.
A promising 2020 campaign for the squad was wiped out due to COVID-19 pandemic. The Trojans are 29-6, and they got this day started with a 3-0 victory over Groseville.
So they must have played both games the same day. They played the semifinals and the finals the same day.
Yeah, they were doing that for softball and baseball, I think, on Saturday. I know it was whatever the host site was. They started, I think, as early as like 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're just kind of going through. Like some, it was kind of interesting that, what was it, Gabriel Richard ended up playing, I think, Robichaud, and those were the only 2 teams. Both the other 2 teams opted out, so there was only 2 teams left, and GR wins their they like 15-0 over Robichaud because that was the only team left in the entire region. So yeah, I think they had all the games on Saturday.
Hey, Coach, I wonder if Canterbury's the ace for Wyandotte?
Yeah, I would say pitching wise.
And he pitched the regional. I mean, he pitched the districts and not the regionals, right?
He pitched today. I'm pretty sure he pitched today. I didn't look at the stats from that, but I'm pretty sure he would have pitched. Probably him, Mathis would have been in the mix. Yeah, and I mean to go up 2-0 early on, but I don't know when they scored those 3 runs. But I know it was 3-2 going in the 7th before Woodhaven scored those 4 to kind of really open it up at the end there.
Okay.
Well, switching over to softball now. Allen Park. They cruised past Wyandotte Roosevelt, Taylor High to win its 15th consecutive district title.
Yeah, and after earning a 10th consecutive Downriver League title in the regular season, the Allen Park Jaguars flexed their muscles in the state playoffs and cruised to that 15th consecutive district championship.
15.
On Saturday at Lincoln Park, the Jags knocked off Wyandotte Roosevelt by a score of 7-0 in the semis, and they claimed the Division I District 18 crown with a 15-0 mercy rule of Taylor High.
So 22 runs to none they score, and they'll advance to the regionals and will serve as host. Good for them. The D1 Region 5 on Saturday. The Jags will play Livonia Churchill at 12:30 this Saturday, the 12th. Yes.
Correct.
Good guess. In the semifinal, and the winner of that contest will play in a championship against either Edsel Ford or Detroit Western. I think I like Allen Park's chances. Not that I know anything about the other 2 teams. They're always solid, though. They bunt, okay? Yeah. They bunt. You get somebody on, they advance the runner.
Well, and for them to be doing this for how many years now in a row, 15th, district title, they're doing something right there. We were talking before we came on the air about feeder programs and starting those kids young, and it's really, most schools that are successful do those, all the way from elementary school, really all the way on up, and they're following the same philosophy, and that's really how you're going to get schools that are going to be successful in that. It doesn't start when they get to high school. It can't. They have to know a lot of this stuff beforehand to be that successful.
I'll say this, if the middle schools are doing the same thing, working on the bunting, working on advancing the runners, because I know nobody does it in rec ball. Right. They've got the APAC baseball, and we have Wyandotte baseball. There ain't nobody bunting. Yeah. Everybody's up there, swing away. People dig the long ball, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Detroit Western normally plays in that region with Garden City, So with Detroit Western playing there, I know Galindez is the pitcher there, and she's good. And I think that the difference, even with Allen Park, has got to be pitching. I mean, everything else, you need defense, but if you got good pitching and you got a solid up the middle, your catcher, shortstop, you're good. Yeah.
Be strong up the middle. That's what we used to do when we coached the girls, right?
And bunt.
And there wasn't a lot of that, though. My daughter told me we're watching the College World Series, and they're in the finals. It's Oklahoma and Florida State.
Yep.
Florida State beat them yesterday. Great game. And I'll say this. Julia said, I got the bunt sign once in high school. She said, I just ignored the coach. And that's my girl,
I don't know. It's a time and place. Like, I know coaching in the city was like speed was our thing. Yeah. So you want to get the bunt down. You got a runner on first and second. Right. You want to move the runner. It's almost automatic. You're going to bunt with a runner on first and second.
No matter who you are.
Right. No, less than 2 outs. You want to move that third baseman in, and then you're still in third if you have to. Mm-hmm. But it's all about that. Small ball.
Small ball. Switching to track and field. 2 downriver area track and field athletes won state championships, and I think that is fantastic.
Yeah, at the Division I state meet held at East Kentwood, Lincoln Park senior Carrington Gordon was first in the high jump. She cleared a distance of 5 feet 7 inches.
That's pretty good.
At the D3 meet at Jenison, Riverview Gabriel Richard senior Asher Cousineau earned a gold medal in the 300-meter hurdles with a time of 39.45 seconds. Cousineau also earned all-state honors in the 110-meter hurdles as he placed fourth.
Nice. Yeah, top 8 get all-state.
Correct.
It's just like the bowling. Wyandotte Roosevelt was represented. Jalen Jackson was 13th in both the 300 hurdles and the 110 hurdles. And Ethan Bross ran 17th in the 400 meters. At the D2 meet in Zeeland, Huron's Elizabeth Anderson capped off a huge season with 3 all-state finishes.
And the sophomore was third in both the 100 and 400 meters and fourth in the 200 meters. And Grosse Eels, Natalie Chrisnagel picked up all-state honors as she placed third in the high jump. And I just want to make one little plug, too, for one of my fellow teaching partners, Jason Karaski. So where he goes to school in Byron, they have a thrower there who's committed to Michigan, Sarah Marvin, and we've been following her for the last 4 years. And she had a chance on Saturday to set the all-time state meet for the shot put. And she was throwing like 49, 50 feet. She had to throw 50 feet. She got it. So she set the all-time state meet. Unreal. Was reading about her beforehand, and she's going to be throwing at Michigan. She'll walk in at probably being like top 3 throwers for Michigan, but small little school. But to set an all-time meet, meaning that's the best the state's ever seen, is pretty impressive. So I can't even imagine throwing anything 50 feet. And here she is throwing a shot put 50 feet. So
have you ever tried that? Hitting the wall over here would be an accomplishment.
Yeah, and that's what I coach. I coach throws at Roosevelt. So we would have kids, if we had a girl getting close to 40, that was wow, that's pretty impressive. And here she is throwing 49, 50 feet like nothing, and it's just and her twin sister finished 7th in the state meet. So she finished first, that's an all-time state record, and then her sister finished 7th. So 2 all-state throwers, wow. It was pretty impressive. And the mom threw in college, and another sibling threw, so it's just the family lineage, but it was pretty cool to see her story. So I had to make a little plug in there.
So Byron, that's close to Grand Rapids?
Yeah, he's from little Lansing area, kind of between Lansing and Grand Rapids, small little school. I mean, they're like D3 in track, I think, so they're small, but it's when I read the article, and they're we put throwing pits in in our backyard. I'm like, I don't know anybody that would put a throwing area in their backyard for shot put, but
start them at 8 years old.
Yeah,
get them going.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I mean, I know it's a lot of technique. You spin, you launch. But you're not allowed to hold it out here? Is this the way you have to throw it?
You don't have to, but you're never going to get, I have middle school kids. I went back to coaching throws for middle school this year, and you have those kids that would take it and they would have it like this and kind of throw it overhand like a baseball. And we went against Lincoln Park early on, and this kid, you kind of watch him do that, and then later on you see him, it's hurt, it kills your elbow. The whole idea of throwing a shot put is you're pushing it out, and it's all it's coming from your legs. It's really your legs where you get your strength from. But kids, they think, I can just throw it overhand. And the first time they do that, I'm like, no, you're going to rip your elbow right off if you do that.
How heavy is that thing?
For the boys, it is like almost 9 pounds in middle school. It's 12 pounds in your high school. Girls is 10, I believe. And then in college, boys, it goes up to 16 pounds. So they're basically throwing a bowling ball.
Yeah.
16 pounds, and girls stay at 12 or 10 or 12 in college.
Interesting.
So,
yeah. Now my favorite subject of the day. The Trenton chaos. Chaos, controversy. How do we want to phrase this? But the snub Trenton varsity football coach was hired at Gabriel Richard. Now, these guys withdrew their name the second time around, and as we talked last week, I believe, they have the guy coming up from Indiana, Hall of Fame coach. But if you told Bill Miller and Aaron Seghetti a few weeks ago that they would be coaching a downriver football team with a good portion of their coaching staff intact, they would never have believed it. Both had been passed over for the head coaching job at Trenton High School, where both are employed. Now, are they still going to be employed there as they go to coach at Gabriel Richard?
I would imagine so. I think probably pay-wise, it's probably better staying there. I don't think
Seniority.
I don't think it mentioned anything about them taking, and believe it or not, you see that sometimes with some coaches that have worked at one's place and have coached another place, and that's kind of been happening in some areas. But yeah, I can think of a few coaches that has happened. But an unexpected opening at Gabriel Richard Catholic High School, open opportunity. They never saw it coming. Miller decided to apply for the job, landed it, and is bringing over Seghetti and 4 other Trenton coaches with him. And they found out today the former GR coach is actually going to Garden City to work on to their program. Didn't know what happened to him, but Coach Ron Adams told me today that he was going to Garden City to take over their program.
Interesting.
In order to have a successful program, Miller said the coach has to have a supportive administration. He said he didn't think that was possible any longer. Seghetti said he couldn't be happier for the way things turned out.
I can imagine being him or the other guy. Suddenly this job at Gabriel Richard, one of the biggest pluses in the whole thing is that the coaching staff gets to move together.
Yeah.
And the schools are so close. I mean, Gabriel Richard's on Pennsylvania.
Right.
Trenton's on West Road. You can't get any closest. So travel time's a non-factor. And as Seghetti said, it seems like a good fit. They never thought the situation. If you're them, you think, well, now what am I going to do now? And here, bam, job opens up.
And Miller has coached 17 years at Trenton. Seghetti will serve as the associate head coach, defensive coordinator, and coach of linebackers. He's been on the staff for 21 years at Trenton and coached both linebackers and the secondary.
Mark Gagne will coach the defensive line. He has been a coach at Trenton since 2005. Bob Powell will coach the defensive backs. He has spent the last 26 years at Trenton as the secondary and special teams coach. Congrats to those guys, man. That's good. They stay downriver. They get an opportunity to coach Gabriel Richard.
So six coaches go from Trenton to Gabriel Richard. Now, just looking at these 4, they've got 80, 90 years of experience in coaching. So now this guy comes in, and you have to believe that he thought he could come in and talk to some of the current coaches and keep them around. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a step backwards for the Trenton program, unless he can just put out applications. You put out the open APB and say, hey, I need a defensive line coach, I need backfield coaches. Or does he bring everybody up from Indiana? Nobody wants to make that move.
Right.
Not for the money they pay at high school sports.
Yeah, they'll probably put it out there. I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, sometimes you get like young kids that have been out of college for a few years and might be interested in coming back. And I know like a lot of programs, I can see what's kind of happened. Like Ron Adams has been now there for 15, 16 years. We've had a few coaches that have been there since he came on, but you have other guys that were, young bucks early on. They went to other places, became maybe coaches in other spots, and you'd be surprised. You find people. I've kind of seen now some of the kids I used to coach against are now coming back and are coaching and stuff like that. But it's tougher. It's a lot of times now you're seeing those are the people coaching, not like the people that have 20 plus years experience or 15 years, because you don't see career coaching. I mean, we talked about that. You don't see career coaching anymore for a lot of situations just because the stress, the strain, the time commitment, it's year-long.
There's stress when you're coaching? I don't know.
A little bit.
The time commitment's the killer.
Yeah, that's that would probably be the hard part of it all. It's probably just how much time. I mean, high schools, they start Monday. I mean, they're starting workouts Monday. Passing leagues are starting a couple weeks after that. You know, you're in it. I mean, they're passing out helmets already for kids for workouts and for passing league. You got kids going to camps now and stuff like that. So you're kind of like you're here in June and you're already getting the full swing. So.
I thought there was they changed the rule. I thought there was an 8-week rule where they just they got started, August, June.
Well,
yeah, and they'll have 2 dead weeks, but 4th of July and then the week before they start in August, but there's not really, if you wanted to, there doesn't have to be a time off.
No. I actually went up to Wayne State yesterday and watched the football. They had football camp there yesterday. My buddy's son was a junior, so they had coaches from all around the country come up, and it was packed.
Yeah.
So you're right, football's on, and they had helmets on, and they were doing it.
100 out too.
Yeah.
So humid and sticky, but that's why it makes it so hard to find kids to play the other sports, because they want you committed. The football coach wants you committed. The hockey coach wants you committed.
The volleyball coach.
Volleyball coach wants you committed. The all of it. The bowling guy, he just wants you to show up.
Yeah.
And I hate that they specialize. Like I loved when we were young, and as the season changed, you changed with the sport. You played football during football season, basketball, and then it was baseball time. You just moved with the thing. Yeah. I would hope though that they would have a JV program at Trenton where potentially he can bring up some JV coaches or something like that, maybe a freshman coach or something like that. But I bet you if he's the Hall of Famer that he is, he's bringing somebody from Indiana. He's bringing at least the brains on the offense or the brains on the defense, whichever is not his strong suit.
That makes a lot of sense. And, some of the when I read the article, and I want to thank Frank Wadlowski for us picking the Mellis apart and getting our information. But, I read that, one of the kids has only got about 3 years, and he was an ex-player, and now he's, in his 20s, and he's back there helping out. And, he's getting his feet wet into the program. And that's probably the case with a JV also. And you're right, there would be some guys on the Trenton JV that were probably overseen by the varsity coaches, because you want to run the same program in 9th grade, 10th grade, whatever, so when they get to your program, it's not new, But there were some younger kids that only coached a couple years, but they did have these 4 guys with about 90 years of experience together.
And the schedule came out, by the way, this past week, so Ron released the schedule, and we actually play Trenton the last game of the season at home, so that'll be in October. And then the interesting one is Waterford-Mott, so that's the out-of-conference game for Wyandotte. Ron kind of explained it to me that every 2 years you move down a week. So we had it as the first game for the last 2 years. Now it goes down to the second game for the next 2 years. So we play a home and home. We go to Waterford-Mott, which is a little bit of a hike, and then they come here. But Woodhaven's homecoming, which that's October 8th. That'll be a tough one. And then and the schedule goes back to it's not 6 wins in your anymore. So that's going to be done. At the end, it was last year, that's it. So now it's back to the point system. So you could have maybe only one downriver school actually make the playoffs because it's based on strength of schedule, wins, those types of factors. It's not 6 wins anymore. The state got rid of that. So it's going to go back to the old point system.
Wow.
So nice to have an insider on the bench here.
But I wonder, is that 16 teams then? What are they doing?
So they're basically, for what? For the point, for the league? Yeah, so now it could be, where you were having that playoff game against a school you knew because how many times have we seen us play Southgate, Woodhaven, now it could be where Wyandotte is playing a school in Oakland County for that first game, depending on how the points all work out. So what you're going to see now is a little bit more diversity, I think, because I remember when I first started coaching, they'd send me to King to scout. They would send me to Belleville to scout, and you were going all over the place because you just don't know who you're going to probably play. So it's going to be interesting now with that system again. That's where you see a team like Woodhaven, some of these teams, does it benefit, for some of these situations because, strength of schedule becomes a big factor now. Now you get points based off of how you beat teams. If you go up against a hard team, even if you lose, you might get more points than beating a team,
right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works out this year.
Yeah, if you lose to a powerhouse, it benefits you more than if you
Correct.
beat somebody that you can just slap around.
To me, and I'm old, graduated in '90. We lost on the point system, right?
Yep.
We did not get in. We were 7-2,
Right.
and we lost to the state champ to be was Ann Arbor Pioneer.
Yep.
And they beat us by 1 touchdown, and we didn't make it because of the point system. I thought then the next year, so maybe it was 8 teams that went that year. Then the next year, '91, they opened it up to 16 teams. And then down the line, I liked it if you win 5, you're in.
Right.
I like everybody getting an opportunity to participate.
And now this is going to be a little interesting how this works. So now in the fall, we'll be talking about, we have 15.5 points because that's really what you're going to be looking at now. It's not, it's
We'll
not.
go over that point formula.
That'll be our whole summer. We'll just bring charts out here
We'll bring
and start
charts out and
going
we'll go
through
over
everything.
the formula because it'll probably be the length of winning and all that stuff. One more note that we have as we wrap up. DTE Energy, they retired their River Rouge power plant. They shut it down after 65 years. That plant was brand spanking new, one of the largest plants around in the 50s. And now they're shutting it down.
Yeah, 100 acres. It was right on the Detroit River in River Rouge. Began operations in 1956. So,
Okay.
the old saying, nothing lasts forever. And I guess this is one of those things that, like I always thought I would see the water tower, like the Ford water tower when, by the Rouge plant there. And, when I was a kid, my dad would take me there, because he worked at the Rouge plant. And you're like, well, that's gone. And you see these things that you thought would be there forever and are just, kind of gone. And here's something else that's leaving that area.
DTE is Michigan's largest producer of wind and solar energy, and within 2 years, we will generate enough renewable energy to power approximately 900,000 homes.
Yep, and they're taking that River Rouge plant and they're going to incorporate it with another site, but they're going to use that land for the Gordie Howe Bridge, the one that's going through Delray. As we wrap up, don't forget to get a hold of us at localsportswrapup@gmail. Watch us on YouTube, Local Sports Wrap Up. You can pick your episode you want to watch. Ken, great having you back. George, always good to have the inside line. You give us the school knowledge that we don't have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
yes.
all
And I'm Marty Chinesky from my buddy Ken and my buddy George. We will see you next week on Local Sports Wrap Up. Hi, Mom. Happy birthday.